we're the Spoiler Kings, about to do a reaction to episode 5 of House of Dragons. Uh, yeah. So, what do you think, Brandon? What did you think of episode 5?
Dude, this show, it feels like to me with like every episode, it just steps its game up more and more. What like I'm really liking this show, and there's so much greatness to be had. Obviously the constant great performance of Matt Smith. This dude is just killing it on each episode. And I'm
Oh,
so
watch your
happy.
words, killing it.
Right? that pun may or may not have been intended there. But yeah, man, just this like I wasn't sure what to think when I heard the announcement of this show, and it's just blowing me out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Just the narrative aspect of it, the pacing is great. Like I said, it's well acted. Man, like I'm really loving this. So good.
When I usually watch shows that are like based in the past, based in
Mhm.
times that are in the past, usually there's like, as you said, timing and pacing problems, and there are parts of it that I usually am bored. Because they have to explain the context, give context to the situation.
Mhm.
At no point in time have I been bored by anything in this show.
Definitely not.
It
It
is,
hooks you.
but it's so much drama. It's so much drama all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to live a drama free life, and
Mhm.
sometimes it overwhelms me. I just gotta be honest, like it was just so. I was telling you earlier, like I had to pause it for a little while. I couldn't when Sir Kristen was just voluntarily giving information for no damn reason. I couldn't
For
just
no reason.
watch it. I couldn't.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this show right now, like just like you said, man, I try to live as drama. I try to keep the drama in my life to an absolute minimum. I think this is the primary source of the drama in my life right now.
all right, so
But
let's jump into the episode. So,
okay,
what shocked you to this episode? What shocked you the most?
the first 5 minutes really got me.
Oh, okay.
Um, that really shocked me. Um, I'm trying to because it's still kind of it's still like since I kind of watched it in parts. I'm still trying to kind of sift through what exactly else kind of got me. But yeah, like
What about so were you shocked by Viserys's body, like how his hand and everything has changed? Like that was like shocking to me. I was like,
yes,
whoa.
yeah, that was grimy too. Yeah, definitely. I'd say that was like the secondary one. And I got to run every episode back at least once. Like we were saying, I have to watch each episode more than once. So probably after this is going to be my second watch, just because I like to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and it just helps me it helps let me really let it sink in.
Yeah,
If
and it
that makes
helps
sense.
recap a lot of the stuff. So
Yeah.
other things that
So
really
I always
shocked me, I mean, was Sir Kristen so willing, because you don't know how much time is going by with all the stuff. So like he and Rhaenyra had that conversation on the ship. He's basically asked her to marry him, and she was like, "Ain't no way in hell I can marry you, dude." I mean, she obviously she
yeah
really likes him, but she has a sense of responsibility, and this is what I have to do. I don't know how long it was between that happening and Alicent calling calling him to her chambers to talk to him, but he was so
mhm.
ready just to just spill the beans immediately. Oh yeah, this happened. It
Yeah.
happened. I did it. Yeah. Not even thinking about what this is going to mean. And why wouldn't you keep this just between you two? I don't understand it.
Yeah, that was so abrupt and just kind of you know almost kind of dare I say out of character for him.
Yeah.
Just kind of based on what we've seen of him so far. You know, so I was kind of taken by surprise by that.
But isn't that kind of what this whole episode was? A lot of things being taken out of character. I mean, you see that a lot.
Yeah, and I think definitely. It really throws this episode really threw you for a loop in that regard. You know, pretty much that's what the entirety of the episode was about.
Yeah.
You did like you a lot of stuff. Pretty much the entire episode was comprised of things that we probably at this point in time, based on what we've seen so far, definitely did not expect, which I
So
thought was cool.
Damon is still being Damon. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
hearing about his wife for 4 episodes now, and
Yeah.
we finally see his wife, and he basically called her. He basically said she was like an ogre. She was like this ugly,
Yeah.
terrible looking thing, and then she comes in and she's this very self confident woman, very pretty, and she's not blonde, but she's a very pretty woman. You know,
Sure is.
but confident and something that you enjoy. Like you see someone that you can
Mm-hmm.
definitely enjoy being with, and it's just
Yeah.
not for him, which was
Yeah.
great because I liked how that kind of changed our view of her. But within
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes of our view of her, we see Damon just come out of the shadows in his cloak, like looking
Mm-hmm.
at her. And I don't know if Damon meant to do what he did or he just take advantage of the situation. But
Mm-hmm.
spoiler alert, he knocks her off her horse and the horse lands on her and she hits her head on a rock and then the horse collides on top of her too. And it
Mm-hmm.
looked like he was just going to walk away and let her,
Yeah.
suffer and die.
Yeah.
And then she throws one more insult at him.
Wanted it. Yeah.
And David doesn't do
Yeah.
well with insults, man.
You saw him grab that rock.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
And then
yeah.
you hear later they talk about, oh yeah, she died. Somehow she fell off a horse and she crushed her skull. Damn. Damon is vicious.
Yeah. Damon is just no joke, and like Matt Smith, who I've always loved since he's probably my favorite. Yeah, he's probably my favorite Doctor Who. Um, so it's really good to see him getting more roles and
He's
just
not
kind
my
of
favorite Doctor Who, but he's good.
oh yeah, who's your favorite? Was it David Tennant?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's when you think of Doctor Who, you think of David Tennant. That's just what it is.
You definitely think of David.
You don't think
Tennant,
of Mike
for sure.
Yeah. But whatever. As I digress.
But yeah. So yeah, Matt Smith is just like I'm almost inclined to say that he is the show, but there's so much great stuff in this show, man. Like, but he's definitely a standout.
When he's there, he does steal the show. But I feel like this was the first time that though he was a focus of it, he wasn't the whole focus. Because I mean, this was a trip. This whole episode was a trip. So, what do you think about the deal that Rhaenyra had? The deal.
Interested to see where they go, and where they go with that, and how far they're going to go with that.
Well, we know the prince is not. He's not. What's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on it. Corlys' son.
Look it up.
Like I know it, but I just can't think of Lenore. So we know Lenore's not interested in Rhaenyra in any way, even though everyone knows that she's beautiful and she's one of the fairest in the land, but he's no interested in her. So but she knows that, and as she said, some prefer goose, some prefer duck. I like goose. It looks like you like duck. So we can do this marriage thing, and I'll do me. I'll eat my goose, and I'll let you eat your duck.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought
you gotta the dialogue scenes in like the dialogue and the exchanges on the show Game of Thrones. I think that's always been like one of the shining points for me as well. Just the exchanges, the way it's like it's just so tautly written. You know, I
It's
love it.
but you know what? I felt like it was almost today's society in the 1100s. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Mhm.
you know, that's what this today's society, forward thinking, like basically having an open marriage.
Mhm.
You don't think about that in those times, having an open marriage. And she's like, you, what you do in your chambers is your business, and what I do in my chambers is mine.
It was my
Let's not worry
business.
about it.
Relationship goals, right?
I can't even second that because if my wife hears me, she might come and kill me. It'd be Damien coming right behind, like, what?
you how intense was the feast scene?
Oh, so much was going on. All right, so first thing, when Damon walks in, the intensity gets ratcheted up, always. And
Mhm.
you know, Sirius just kind of just lets him walk in, and I thought he was going to have the guards take him and throw him to the dungeon or something.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the king starts his speech, and then Allison walks in the middle of his speech, wearing green, knowing that
Mhm.
that's when her house, the High Towers, are at war. That's the color of the High
Mhm.
Tower. What? Coming to the
Mhm.
dinner, like everyone knows it. So it's like she knew she's been lied to. I think she needs to get over herself, but she knew she was being lied to,
Mhm.
and her wearing that green, she didn't have to say nothing. Rhaenyra knew exactly what was going on. She's like, oh man, fuck.
Mhm.
Just,
Yeah.
so I thought that was interesting.
I definitely. I don't think I've felt that much of a level of anxiety since probably the last 30 minutes of Uncut Gems. um,
That's good. That's really
you
good.
know, yeah, yeah, it was great. Like the looks, the just the expressions, how everyone was exchanging looks, just so awesome, man.
That was the first time I thought Allison actually was looking like a queen.
Yeah.
That's the first time I looked at her. I was like, that's the queen. And she owned it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just crazy
Mm-hmm.
because she just lost her father. You know, Otto's gone, basically. So he's no longer there. So she's alone. But then she decides, if I want to be alone, I'm still queen. I'm still powerful. I'm still a force to be reckoned with. And she owned that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that she stole the whole thing, even though we knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought that was going to be the main thing to the feast. Boy, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
was I wrong.
Yeah,
Oh
you just
man.
this episode like really just kept me on my toes because just like you said, I didn't know what to expect or where things were gonna go. Like it was it, it it surprised me. You know, I couldn't even I fancy myself pretty good at like kind of predicting where things are gonna go or getting a read on where things are gonna go. And with this show, this episode in general, but the show as a whole, I just don't. I can't get a read on it, and I love it.
All right, so I'm gonna go through it real quick. So basically, next thing we know, uh, the two lovers of the two betrothed people get into a fight, and Sir Christian just snaps and
Yeah.
just beats the ever living crap. Did you see his face? Like, he saw the redness, and like he basically beat his eye out and crushed his skull with his bare
Yep.
hands. Like,
Yep.
what? Sir Christian snapped, and he
Yeah.
did it, and no one else did anything to him. No guards came at him.
Mm.
You know, and then he goes out and he's ready to take his own life. He's ready to fall on the sword.
Yep.
And then Allison stops him. Uh man,
That
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 was
that
crazy.
punch though.
He broke his elbow like and then punched him. It
Yeah.
was crazy. Um so that's kind of the basis of what happened in this episode. And then of course, instead there was supposed to be 7 days of feasting and partying and all this stuff. And
Mm.
that was all changed immediately. And they basically did a shotgun wedding right then and there. right where the blood stain of Lenore's lover is still sitting on the ground with rats, like drinking his blood,
Right.
and they're sitting and saying their vows right there. Like that changed immediately. That was so
Oh
crazy.
man.
Uh,
Oh man.
so
Zero chill
what
this episode.
exactly?
You
This
know?
episode was just so crazy. But with
Yeah.
all that said, what were give me something that things that you really liked about this episode?
Things that I really liked about it.
Yeah.
The I really liked the pacing. Like I've said, it kept me on the edge of my seat and on my toes, and just kind of guessing and failing to successfully guess what would happen next. It it so in terms of its expectations, they were definitely subverted in that regard. I really liked like even the opening with Damon and his wife. It kind of set the tone for exactly what I was just explaining. You didn't expect that, and we didn't expect to see the way things panned out the entire episode,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool.
Whole
Like I
episode
said,
full of blood.
yeah, it just the fact that it had me in a permanent state of anxiety, especially, and I think it hit its peak during that the feast scene, the banquet scene. Um, so yeah, it's usually at this point in a season, because I think there's going to be what, like 10 episodes. We got 5 more to go.
Yep.
And usually when you hit the midpoint of the season, that's when sometimes it's very middle of the road, kind of like with what we were
A whole
talking about with
hum.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they did a great job in just kind of keeping you hooked and keeping you invested and keeping you surprised. I was like, my mouth was agape throughout the entire thing. Like, holy crap!
Yeah, I think what I liked the most, I think, was all the drama, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like drama that you had to see happen in the next episode. It was drama that was playing out right now. That's giving you all the
Mm-hmm.
information right now, and I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I love what Matt Smith did. I mean, Damon is so cold. I love that Alicent is becoming the queen, and we're getting more information. I love the way Otto left. He basically said, "Okay, you have to decide who you're going to be. Either you're going to be the one cuddling up to Rhaenyra, hoping that she has mercy on your children, or you're going to be the queen of this realm, and you're going to get your son ready to be king." Not
Mm-hmm.
realizing that she's actually the one causing the war that's going to happen. She's the one causing the civil war because of the way she's going to react to this information. But it's all because of Otto. Otto Hightower is a genius playman. He plays everyone. He sees the future. He sees where it's going, and he puts all the chess pieces in and just lets it go. So I love that he's able to do that, and he's such a force, even though he was only in this episode for 2 minutes.
Right? Yeah.
That was
Like, very
so
bit part.
Yeah.
We made every second count.
Exactly. I mean, I think he really changed Alicent, his departure, because she was okay with him leaving because, she believed Rhaenyra because that was her friend. She believed her that much that she was okay with her dad leaving, even though she didn't want him to go. Soon as she find out Rhaenyra lied to her, woo, she changed. And that was awesome. Okay. What are some things that this episode you didn't like?
I know I mentioned the pacing a minute ago. I guess I don't really have. It's kind of hard to get a read on the time span of this, like how long it's taking place.
That's all the time
or
in the episode.
how much time is kind of
elapsing.
How much time is passing.
Yeah.
Between episode to episode. So it's kind of hard to kind of get an exact grasp on that. So even though I do like the pacing, it would be nice for them to be a little
something to tell you.
As to how much time is passing.
Yeah.
I also was kind of surprised by Christian's, you know, how quick he just spilled the beans. You know,
He was
it
such a
just
terrible. I mean, dude, oh no, my cloak, my honor. It's like, dude, she's the princess, and she did that with you. How about you shut the hell
yeah
up?
yeah yeah like keep your mouth shut, dude.
Stop being a trick.
um, yeah. So I'd say those were my two complaints. Like it just seemed too out of character for him based on
Mhm.
what we know about him so far, how much we've seen of him so far, because he's been pretty much a primary character, you know. So that really kind of I was just kind of like, huh,
I
when
can
that happened.
understand.
I'd say those are my top two things.
I think the
So
yeah, for me, the thing I didn't understand most was Sir Kristen just snapping. I didn't understand what he was so upset about. He knew the wedding was going to happen, and he gonna snap and on Lenore's your lover. I
yeah,
didn't understand that. I was like, why are you snapping on him? Like you could have done anything. You could have went after Damon. You could have did anything. Like none of that mattered. He just was not thinking clearly, and I just didn't
yeah,
understand it at all.
yeah. It kind of even though I also said there were some unexpected things that happened that I really liked, that was the one aspect where it kind of sabotaged itself a little bit.
I also don't think I like Viserys is questioning, his mortality and his place and everything because
Mhm.
I mean, though he looks like he's past about to die right today, he doesn't. He's not going to die today. So I don't understand why
Yeah,
you're questioning all this stuff. His new hand is a good guy, uh, but also I hated that little snake in the grass that talked to Allison and was like, "Oh, I saw that tea. Heard about the tea for Rhaenyra." I hated that guy. I hated the snake in the grass guy.
yeah. What's up with
Like
that?
he looked like a snake. I was like, man, look at him.
hmm
um, Yes, I think those were the two things I didn't like, but I still was okay with it because I liked how they played out. But
hmm
here's the real question: where does it go from here? So,
Ooh.
just kind of set this up. We all the time jump is going to happen now. There's going to be a giant
Oh
time
yeah.
jump. After this. There's
Mhm.
going to be like I don't know if it's going to be 5 or 10 years. I'm guessing a 10-year time jump. I think you're going to see an older Rhaenyra jumping in, an
Mhm.
older Alicent jumping, and if Viserys is alive, an old Viserys, and which then means a young, stronger. Was it Aegon? I Aegon. Well, I don't know how to say his
A-
name. Yeah.
Again, again,
So
again.
Aegon.
It'll come to me.
So you're going to get him. So we're going to start seeing the real civil war start because now we have Daemon,
Yeah.
we have Rhaenyra, who now has her king, and she's gonna have her like children. But here's the question: so saw the little thing that had a little flash forward. I don't know if those children are from uh Lenore, or is it from Sir Christian? Those kids look mighty white. So I don't know.
Right.
I so I don't know. I think we're going to get these next 5 episodes are going to be the huge civil war that we've been promised.
Mhm. Do you think the inevitable time jump is going to happen on the upcoming episode?
Yes, I think it's going to happen in the next episode. And
I
to
could I
my
could I could see
shock,
that. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Viserys about to die. Like
Yeah.
he's literally on his deathbed, and
Mhm.
all this stuff is going to start coming up. And
I could see that happening.
something that's really small that I saw. Did you see how what's her name? Lenore's sister? How
Mhm.
she was talking to Damon? Because Damon doesn't have a wife anymore, even though she was promised to somebody else. Damon doesn't have a wife anymore. Do you think they get together?
I could see that. Yep. I have a feeling, just kind of based on the type of character Damon is, you know, I could see that happening.
This is getting
I can
real
see that
messy.
happening.
This is gonna be really messy.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, and it's not going to end well.
It's gonna end in blood. This is Game of Thrones, and that's what they do. They do incest.
Yep.
They do dragons. They do
Mhm.
messy marriages. There's never been a
Mhm.
marriage in Game of Thrones that went smoothly, ever.
Yeah,
So why would we
yeah,
expect this one to go smoothly? So
yeah. If there's one thing to know about the Game of Thrones world is that everything usually ends on a very sour and bloody note.
yep, it all ends in blood.
So yeah, yeah, I could see it panning out. But man, I'm loving this show. Like when I first heard that they were doing a Game of Thrones spinoff, I was kind of proceeding with caution because it very well could have been like a very drab and soulless cash in.
Yep.
But it's awesome. It turned out to
Well,
surpass my
having
expectations.
a book to feed off of it does do help it out, and
Mhm.
but they're not following the book, exactly. And I'm happy to go on the journey with them. So I'm
Yeah,
enjoying
and
it.
I think actually not going entirely by the books is kind of working to its advantage. Um,
Look at
you
the
know, like a
boys.
lot of
That's
the
what you need to do.
yeah, yeah. It's like what they did with the boys. You know, they changed a multitude of elements from the from the comics, from the graphic novels, but it really works to its advantage. You know, sometimes when you're doing an adaptation, you kind of have to do that sometimes, and it's working. I think it's working very very much.
I agree. That's exactly what I'll
Mhm.
say. All
Yeah,
right, you got anything else to say about this episode, which I think was amazing?
definitely an amazing episode. I'd say that covers it. I was very happy and watch it again after this.
All right, so I can't wait to see what happens in episode 6.
Hmm.
Uh, can't wait for us to all watch it, and then you guys come and tell me what you think.
Definitely.
Comment about everything we're saying right now. If you guys see other things happening, please put your comments in on the video right now and let us know.